While other men are collecting girlfriends like trophies, you're sitting alone wondering if there's something wrong with you. The truth is more brutal than you think, and it has nothing to do with your worth as a man. What I'm about to reveal will either crush your ego or liberate your soul. Society tells you that men should always be in relationships, that being single means you're failing, that having a girlfriend is proof of your value. But what if everything you've been told about relationships is designed for men who are fundamentally different from you? Today, we're exposing 7 brutal truths about why Sigma males rarely have girlfriends, and why that might actually be your greatest strength, not your biggest weakness. By the end of this video, you'll understand whether you should fight against your nature or embrace it completely. Reason 1. Your standards are impossibly high. Let's start with the most uncomfortable truth. Your standards aren't just high. They're incompatible with modern dating culture. Ever been told you're too picky or that you need to lower your standards? Here's the brutal reality. You're not looking for a girlfriend, you're looking for a compatible life partner. And those are extremely rare. While other men are willing to date someone who's good enough, you're waiting for someone who's genuinely extraordinary. You don't want a woman who just fits into your life. You want one who enhances it. You don't want someone you can tolerate. You want someone you genuinely respect and admire. Here's what makes your standards brutal. You're not just looking for physical attraction or social compatibility. You want intellectual stimulation, emotional maturity, authentic independence, shared values, and genuine character. Most people don't even possess half of these qualities. The statistical reality. If you're looking for someone who's intelligent, emotionally stable, financially independent, physically attractive, and shares your core values, you're looking for maybe 2 to 5% of the female population. Add in genuine chemistry and lifestyle compatibility, and you're down to less than 1%. Most people don't realize this, but your impossible standards are actually quality control. You'd rather be alone than settle for someone who diminishes your life. This isn't pickiness, it's psychological self-preservation. The brutal truth. Society wants you to lower your standards because mediocre people need settling to be chosen. Your refusal to settle threatens the entire ecosystem of average relationships. Reason number 2. You won't perform the dating game. Modern dating is essentially performance art. Men are expected to chase, pursue, entertain, and prove their worth through elaborate displays of interest and resources. But you find this entire charade exhausting and inauthentic. Ever felt disgusted by the idea of gaming women or using pickup techniques? That's because your Sigma nature values genuine connection over manufactured attraction. You want someone to be interested in your authentic self, not your performance. Here's the brutal reality. The dating game rewards actors, not authentic people. Men who are willing to play characters, follow scripts, and manipulate emotions get more dates. But you'd rather have no dates than fake dates. Why this kills your dating success. Modern women have been conditioned to expect the chase, the pursuit, the entertainment. When you show up as yourself without the performance, many women interpret this as lack of interest or low effort. The paradox that destroys you. The more authentic you are, the less exciting you seem compared to men who are performing excitement. Your genuine interest looks boring compared to someone else's manufactured intensity. Most people don't see this coming, but your refusal to play the dating game eliminates most potential partners immediately. Not because you're inadequate, but because they're addicted to the drama of pursuit. The brutal truth. You're incompatible with anyone who needs to be chased to feel valued. This eliminates a huge percentage of the dating pool, but it also protects you from validation-dependent women. Reason Number 3. You're emotionally unavailable by design. This one hits deep. Your emotional self-sufficiency makes you fundamentally incompatible with most modern women. Ever been called emotionally unavailable or hard to read? Here's the brutal reality. Most women are emotionally codependent and need partners who require their emotional support to feel valuable in the relationship. But you don't need emotional rescue, management, or completion. You've done the work to become emotionally whole, which means you don't provide the emotional fixing opportunities that many women crave. Here's what makes this brutal. Modern dating culture has convinced women that their primary value comes from being emotionally needed. When they encounter a man who doesn't need emotional support, they don't feel valuable. They feel irrelevant. The specific ways this kills relationships. You don't share every emotion, so they think you don't trust them. You don't need constant reassurance, so they think you don't care. You handle your problems independently, so they feel excluded from your life. You don't get jealous easily, so they think you're not invested enough. Most people don't realize this, but your emotional independence isn't coldness, it's strength. But strength can feel threatening to people who've built their identity around being emotionally indispensable. The brutal psychological reality. Many women have never experienced a relationship with an emotionally complete man. They don't know how to relate to someone who doesn't need them to manage his emotional state. The deeper truth. Your emotional unavailability isn't a bug, it's a feature. You're screening out women who can't handle being with a psychologically mature man. Reason number 4. You value solitude more than companionship. Here's a truth that sounds almost antisocial. You genuinely prefer being alone to being with most people. Ever turn down dates because you'd rather spend the evening working on your projects or just thinking? That's not social anxiety. That's authentic preference. You've discovered that solitude is often more fulfilling than mediocre company. Here's what makes this brutal. Most people use relationships to escape themselves. But you've learned to enjoy your own company so much that adding another person needs to be a clear improvement to your existing quality of life. The specific problem this creates. When you're genuinely content alone, you have no desperation driving you to pursue relationships. You don't approach dating from neediness, which means you don't give off the eager energy that many women expect from interested men. Why this kills your dating success? Women are used to men who need female companionship to feel complete. When they encounter a man who's genuinely fine alone, it doesn't feel flattering. It feels irrelevant. Most people don't see this coming, but your contentment with solitude makes you appear uninterested, even when you are interested. Your lack of desperation gets misread as lack of attraction. The brutal psychological reality. You need someone to add significant value to your already satisfying life. This is a much higher bar than needing someone to fill a void in an unsatisfying life. The deeper truth? Your high-quality solitude means you only want high-quality companionship. Most people can't clear that bar, so you remain happily single rather than miserably coupled. Reason number 5. You're intimidating without trying to be. This might be the most unfair reason of all. Your natural competence and self-possession intimidate women, even the ones who claim to want a strong man. Ever noticed how women seem nervous or try extra hard to impress you, even on casual encounters? That's because your quiet confidence and obvious competence trigger their insecurity about whether they're good enough for you. Here's the brutal irony. Women say they want confident, successful, independent men. But when they encounter the real thing, many of them feel inadequate rather than attracted. The specific ways you intimidate without meaning to. Your calm presence makes others aware of their own anxiety. Your financial independence highlights others' instability. Your emotional regulation exposes others' drama addiction. Your clear boundaries challenge others' manipulation habits. Your authentic success triggers others' imposter syndrome. Why this destroys potential relationships. Instead of being excited by your strength, many women become self-conscious about their own weaknesses. They start performing instead of being themselves, which kills authentic connection. Most people don't realize this, but intimidation often masquerades as disinterest. Women who feel intimidated by you will often act aloof or unavailable to protect their ego from potential rejection. The brutal psychological reality. Your natural excellence makes average people feel average. This creates resentment rather than attraction, even when they consciously appreciate your qualities. The deeper truth. You can't dim your light to make others comfortable without betraying your authentic self. This means you're incompatible with anyone who needs you to be less than you are. Reason number 6. You won't compromise your mission. Here's a truth that sounds selfish but isn't. Your life purpose is more important to you than romantic relationships. Ever ended or avoided relationships because they would interfere with your goals, projects, or personal development? That's not commitment phobia. That's priority clarity. Here's what makes this brutal. Most women expect to be the primary focus of their partner's life, but you have a mission that predates any relationship and will outlast most relationships. Your purpose isn't negotiable. The specific ways this kills relationships: you won't relocate for someone else's career at the expense of your own. You won't abandon your goals to accommodate someone else's timeline. You won't sacrifice your personal development for relationship maintenance. You won't prioritize social obligations over meaningful work. You won't compromise your values for relationship harmony. Why this makes you undateable? Many women interpret your mission focus as emotional unavailability or selfishness. They want to feel like the most important thing in your life, but your mission will always come first. Most people don't see this coming, but your non-negotiable priorities actually make you a better partner for the right person. But they make you impossible for the wrong person. The brutal psychological reality. You're looking for a mission partner, not a mission distraction. Most people want relationships that escape responsibility, but you want relationships that enhance capability. The deeper truth. Your unwillingness to compromise your mission protects it from people who would diminish it. This keeps you single, but also keeps you on track for extraordinary achievement. Reason 7. You see through the illusion of modern romance. This final reason might be the most brutal of all. You understand that most modern relationships are based on mutual delusion rather than genuine compatibility. Ever watched couples and wondered what they actually have in common besides their need to not be alone? That's your Sigma nature cutting through the romantic mythology to see relationships as they actually are. Here's the brutal reality. Most relationships are unconscious business arrangements, trading companionship for security, sex for commitment, validation for resources. But you can't unsee these transactions once you recognize them. What you see that others don't. Love bombing disguised as romantic intensity. Codependency disguised as deep connection. Settling disguised as compromise. Fear of loneliness disguised as partnership. Social pressure disguised as personal choice. Why this makes you relationship resistant? Once you see through the illusions that most relationships are built on, you can't participate in them authentically. You'd rather be alone than live a lie. Most people don't realize this, but your clarity about relationship dynamics makes you immune to romantic manipulation, but also incompatible with romantic fantasy. You want real connection, but most people prefer beautiful illusions. The brutal psychological reality. You're looking for conscious partnership in a world full of unconscious coupling. The gap between what you want and what's available is enormous. The deeper truth, your relationship standards aren't just about finding the right person. They're about finding someone who's as committed to reality as you are. And most people prefer their romantic delusions. Your high standards come from knowing your worth. Your authenticity comes from not needing approval. Your emotional independence comes from internal completeness. Your preference for solitude comes from self-contentment. Your intimidating presence comes from genuine confidence. Your mission focus comes from purposeful living. Your relationship clarity comes from psychological maturity. Here's the meta truth. You're not failing at relationships. You're succeeding at being yourself. And being yourself in a world full of people pretending to be someone else is naturally isolating. Most people don't see this coming. But your relationship problems are actually relationship advantages for the right person. You just haven't met someone who deserves your authenticity. Here's the question you need to answer honestly. Are these reasons keeping you from finding love, or are they protecting you from fake love? Consider the alternative. You could lower your standards, play the dating game, become emotionally needy, sacrifice your solitude, dim your light, compromise your mission, and believe in romantic illusions. You'd probably get a girlfriend. But would you want the kind of woman who's attracted to that version of you? The brutal truth. Most men who succeed at dating do so by betraying their authentic selves. They get relationships, but they lose their souls in the process. Your singleness isn't failure, it's integrity. If these reasons resonated with you, you have a choice to make. Continue being authentically yourself and remain selectively single, or compromise your nature and become desperately coupled. There's no right answer, only the answer that's right for you. But understand this, the world needs men who refuse to settle, who maintain their standards, who won't play games, who stay true to their mission. Your integrity is more valuable than your relationship status. The question isn't whether you'll find a girlfriend, it's whether you'll find one worth having. If this video explained your relationship struggles in a way that finally made sense, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below with the word integrity and tell me which reason hit closest to home. And if this video gave you permission to embrace your singleness rather than apologize for it, hit that like button and subscribe for more brutal truths about the Sigma male experience. Remember, better to be authentically alone than artificially coupled. Until next time, trust your standards.